Well, back now to The View's Joy Behar, the host today, hammering away at Nevada Senate candidate Sharron Angle again. After her original remark, calling her the B word, which we showed you a few moments ago, the Angle camp says they raised $170,000 from sympathetic supporters of Angle. So Sharron Angle sent flowers to the View host. Joy was not amused.
This morning, I get these flowers from Sharron Angle. I mean, I look in my that's a brassiere moment, and it says, Joy raised $150,000 online yesterday. Thanks for your help. Sincerely, Sharron Angle.
Woman has a sense of humor.
Well, I don't know if it's a sense of humor, but I'd like to point out that those flowers were picked by illegal immigrants. And they're not voting for you, bitch.
Again with the B word. Steve Krakauer is the senior editor of Mediaite.com, and Sonja Eddings Brown is president of the women's group called The Kitchen Cabinet. All right, panel, thanks so much for being here. So, Sonja, let me start with you. You and other women like you, including this group, this feminist group called The New Agenda, have a real problem with the language Joy Behar used, and this New Agenda group in particular says she should be ashamed of herself, and if she cannot apologize, The View should consider whether she is appropriate for this show. Where do you come out on it?
Well, I think everybody knows who Joy Behar is, but I think that she did us a really big favor yesterday. And the worst destiny that is waiting for Joy Behar is that she's already out of style, and she's the best player on our team. Can you imagine what would have happened if Sharron Angle had used that kind of language, or any other national conservative woman, to speak about Joy Behar? MSNBC would have interrupted programming if that had happened.
Well, but Joy Behar's a comedian. She's not running for, U.S. Senate.
Yeah. Well, correct, but Sharron Angle wouldn't do that, and I think that's the point. So we thank Joy Behar because she's the best player on our team, and there's a tsunami of women that are coming to the polls.
Steve, what do you make of it? As I mentioned, she's a comedian, right? So she's not running for U.S. Senate, but still, is it appropriate for someone in her position with her kind of platform to come out on national television and repeatedly call a candidate for U.S. Senate the B word over and over again, saying she's going to hell and on and on?
Well, I mean, you said it. She's a comedian. She's a talk show host. This is what she does. It shouldn't really surprise anyone that she's doing it. Is it outrageous? Of course, but that's what Joy Behar does, and she gets people to talk about it. She gets people like me to write about it, and this is the reaction she wants. She gets Sharron Angle to send her a letter and flowers. Well,
but Sonja, is she doing some damage? I mean, is this something that feminists should have an issue with? Because, this group from the Feminist Agenda says this is sexist and this shouldn't be tolerated. I don't care if it is a woman, they're saying, to be coming out there and denouncing a candidate for U.S. Senate as a B word repeatedly just because you disagree with her ad or you disagree with her political approach.
Well, absolutely, but there seems to be a real double standard for how we treat conservative women, particularly in politics. Anything seems to go. I mean, Barbara Boxer has spent $6 million carpet bombing Carly Fiorina in California in the last couple of weeks. That money isn't even spent at the Super Bowl level to try to destroy her reputation. And look what happened when Meg Whitman received the same kind of treatment from Jerry Brown. The national organization of what I call a few women came out and endorsed him. So it seems like it's fair to use a battering ram when you're talking about conservative women, and not so in return.
What do we make of it, Steve? I mean, do you think, even in a person like Joy's position, does she owe an apology?
Maybe she'll apologize, but that'll probably...
You think?
Maybe, but that's not really the point. I think that a person in her position will make these comments, and it's not a left-right thing. Jon Stewart.
It's not?
I don't think so. Dennis Miller can say things, and he's a more conservative comedian, and he's a comedian, and he has a little more leeway because he's doing it from a platform of joking, and the offensiveness scale is a little bit more lenient for a person like that.
It's one thing. You tell me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I watch Miller every week on O'Reilly, Steve. He doesn't seem to have the anger she does. She seems really angry. There seems to be some real venom behind it, which almost makes it a little bit more jarring. Go ahead, Steve, and then I'll get Sonja.
Sure. I think that maybe she's a little more angry. You look at something that she was actually angry about, which is that Bill O'Reilly walkout a couple weeks ago, which has really started her on this publicity wave. And this is just another example of that. I don't think she was as angry with that. And I think Sharron Angle is going to use this to her advantage as well.
Oh,
and
she was angry yesterday. She was Joy Behar was angry yesterday when she was saying, try that in the Bronx, you B word. And she's not going, I'm not praying for her. She's going to hell. She was not happy. And you mentioned the View clip of O'Reilly and how Joy walked out and Whoopi walked out. Sonja, I want to ask you about that, because what is the one thing that made Joy walk back in? Watch it.
Muslims killing us on 9/11. Here comes one of them back.
We're back because now you apologize. You apologize.
But that's not the issue. The issue is that it's inappropriate.
Why did she come back in after she was so offended, Sonja? Because he apologized, something she can't bring herself to do.
Well, it's a publicity stunt, and I think Joy Behar is eager for attention, and maybe her ratings are low, I don't know. But she is really helping us on the ground. The kitchen cabinet is in touch with hundreds of thousands of real women on the ground, not women that lunch in the Russian tea room, but the ones that are really paying the bills in this country.
Well, those are real women, too.
Going to march to the polls.
They're all real women. They just have different political beliefs.
I guess so, but they don't live the economic realities that the rest of us do. And so I can tell you there is a tsunami of great women that are coming to the polls, and we're organizing them at thekitchencabinet.us, and they're going to change America.
All right.
Megan,
go ahead, Steve, quickly.
Maybe after Sharron Angle wins this election, she can go on The View, and Joy Behar can apologize to her in person, and everyone can win. You know?
Would you watch that?
I think everyone would.
Would you
on
buy a
both
ticket
sides.
to that?
I
would.
Of course.
All right, guys. Thank you
Isn't that
both.
what they want?
Thanks so much, Sonja and
both.
Steve. We appreciate it. Hey, come